Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time? There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s. Wow.
It suggested that the then Meghan Markle likely spent time with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein before she even met Prince Harry.
Of Meghan Markle's alleged, rumoured yacht.
We again highlight the mucky murkiness and mendacious manner of this alleged yacht girl. According to Urban,
just here it comes.
Reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return.
Nasty, and says he feels sorry for Prince Harry because his wife is a lot to deal with.
You know, I mean, she used to be on Deal or No
infiltrated?
Deal. Look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right.
Listen, I brought Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, to my Deal or No Deal celebrity golf tournament. She was one of my Deal or No Deal girls that were, she was a caddy for all of my celebrities.
The woman who destroyed her in-laws' family, whose own family doesn't like her, whose the in-laws obviously don't like her, the public doesn't like her, she's stuck because she was an actress who became a real princess, who wants to be an actress again, but has to continue to pretend to be a real princess.
And it seems like that lady is a temptress. She's a siren. She's lured him into the rocks.
It is interesting how she's exposing her as a yacht girl, someone who was paid off by rich men to go and hang out.
And then the wife convinces you to leave the royal family. Like, I'm out. I don't need you guys. Which is crazy, because don't you just get free money?
It was planned from the beginning. She denied being interested in the royal family, which she totally was. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry on it.
Just days after the SNL roast, the storm escalated. A new wave crashed across the internet, one that no amount of spin or carefully worded statements could wash away. High-definition photos surfaced online, each one a dagger to Meghan's meticulously curated persona. The setting? A gleaming luxury yacht, moored in the crystal blue waters of southern Europe. Designer champagne sparkled in the sunlight. Private security loomed in the background. High-powered men in tailored linen suits mingled with purpose. And at the center of it all, a woman who looked unmistakably like Meghan Markle. Her hair was styled to perfection, her smile effortless, her bikini a statement of luxury. The resemblance wasn't subtle, it was undeniable. Within hours, Reddit threads erupted, TikTok sleuths went to work, and Twitter detectives launched into overdrive. They analyzed timestamps, zoomed in on wristwatches, compared body moles, even studied the shape of her belly button. The internet's verdict was unanimous. That's Meghan, no doubt. These weren't blurry snapshots from a forgotten spring break. Online investigators pinned the photos to the Suits era, a time when Meghan was shaping her public image as a philanthropic, empowered actress climbing Hollywood's ladder. But these images told a different story, one of calculated networking, of mingling with the elite in ways that didn't align with the feminist icon narrative she'd sold to the world. The internet, once a platform for her rise, was now a courtroom, and the evidence was mounting. For years, the yacht girl rumor had lingered in the shadows. It was whispered in comment sections, hinted at in blind gossip items, and occasionally mentioned before being swiftly buried by lawyers, PR teams, and the mainstream press. When Meghan married Prince Harry, the rumor became untouchable. Anyone who dared bring it up was labeled sexist, racist, jealous, or part of some shadowy monarchist conspiracy. Her team had mastered the art of silencing critics, using aggressive legal tactics and carefully curated Instagram posts to keep the narrative in check. But the SNL joke and those yacht photos changed everything. The images weren't grainy iPhone shots from a decade ago. They were crisp, stylized, perfectly posed. The woman in them wasn't hiding in the background. She was front and center, networking with purpose. Suddenly, Meghan's past as an empowered actress didn't look like a story of grit and determination. It looked like calculated social climbing, a strategic ascent through elite circles. The yacht girl label, once a cruel internet rumor, was no longer just a whisper. It was a brand-destroying landmine, and Meghan had stepped right on it. The internet didn't just revive the narrative, it rebranded it. Social media sleuths connected the dots, cross-referencing timelines and unearthing old interviews. The photos weren't an anomaly. they were a window into a past Meghan had worked tirelessly to erase. And the more they dug, the more the public began to question. Was her rise to fame really about talent and tenacity, or was it something else entirely? Let's be clear, Meghan Markle didn't just rebrand herself. She built an empire out of reinvention. From a deal or no deal suitcase girl to a duchess. From a lifestyle blogger behind the TIG to an international humanitarian. From a royal rebel to a podcast host and voice for the marginalized. Her image wasn't just controlled, it was manufactured with precision. Minimalist photo shoots, filtered avocado toast, and buzzwords like manifestation, self-care, and healing created a brand for a generation of women who saw themselves in her strength, style, and struggles. But the yacht photos shattered that illusion like a Jenga tower in a windstorm. The problem wasn't luxury. Plenty of celebrities embrace glamour without apology. The problem was hypocrisy. Meghan hadn't just lived a glamorous past. She'd denied it, buried it, and replaced it with a cleaner, more palatable fairy tale. She sold empowerment while hiding privilege. She preached transparency while scrubbing her history. And the internet, once willing to buy the story, turned ruthless. TikToks juxtaposed her empowerment quotes with images of champagne flutes. YouTube creators dissected her curated persona, pointing out inconsistencies. Twitter users mocked her every woman narrative with yacht memes. The brand that had once seemed untouchable, authentic, aspirational, relatable, began to look like smoke and mirrors. And once the cracks appeared, they spread fast. When accusations are false, people deny them. Loudly, swiftly, publicly, especially when your entire brand is built on empowerment and authenticity. But Meghan didn't deny the photos. She didn't clarify the timeline. She didn't even attempt to spin the story. For many, that non-response was as good as confirmation. Even her staunchest defenders, feminist blogs, lifestyle influencers, social justice commentators, went quiet. No one stepped up to fight her corner. The story was too vivid, too visual, too perfectly timed. And when your allies don't even post, it speaks louder than any statement could. Behind closed doors, Meghan was anything but silent. Insiders paint a picture of a woman in crisis, livid and scrambling to regain control. She was reportedly calling media contacts, demanding outlets pull the photos. She pushed for alternate narratives, stories about her charity work, her parenting journey, her upcoming podcast revival. Anything to shift the spotlight. But the internet was relentless. The meme machine had kicked into high gear. Clips of Meghan saying, "I'm just like every woman out there," were overlaid with yacht photos. TikToks paired her empowerment quotes with images of champagne and tailored suits. YouTube creators churned out videos with titles like "The Yacht Girl Timeline, Meghan's Hollywood Past Revealed." The narrative was no longer in her hands. It belonged to the algorithm. But there's one thing we didn't mention. These next details changed everything. Worse, her business empire began to falter. Whispers surfaced that Netflix was reassessing future collaborations. Spotify stayed silent. Fashion labels, once eager to dress her, began asking their PR teams if the risk outweighed the reward. In the brutal math of public relations, going viral for the wrong reasons isn't just a setback. It's a death knell. Meghan's carefully built brand was crumbling, and no amount of spin could stop the freefall. And then there's Prince Harry, the man who gave up everything for love. His family, his military titles, his country, his reputation. Now his face was splashed across thumbnails next to headlines like, "Yacht Girl Scandal Rocks the Sussexes." Sources close to the couple say Harry grew distant, skipping meetings, avoiding press, and retreating from joint appearances with Meghan. One royal insider described him as lost, like a man who just realized the love story had a script he never read. For years, critics called Harry naive, a love-struck rebel who burned down his royal legacy for a woman he barely knew. Now, that narrative was hitting harder than ever. Reports painted a picture of a man grappling with disillusionment, questioning the fairy tale he'd bet everything on. What happens when the person you thought you knew turns out to be someone else? The yacht photos weren't just a scandal for Meghan, they were a reckoning for Harry, forcing him to confront the cost of his choices. It was just another Saturday night, until it wasn't. On the iconic stage of Saturday Night Live, Colin Jost stepped up to the mic, his trademark smirk in place, and delivered a line that didn't just land, it detonated. Apparently, one of the terms in Trump's new UK trade deal is that we send Meghan Markle back. The studio audience roared with laughter. Twitter ignited like a wildfire, hashtags spreading faster than a California brush fire. Headlines rolled in like a tsunami, each one sharper than the last. But in Montecito, California, behind the gates of a meticulously curated mansion, Meghan Markle wasn't laughing. If sources close to the couple are to be believed, the reaction was raw, unfiltered rage. Picture a shattered wine glass, a slammed laptop, frantic phone calls to PR teams and media allies. This wasn't just a moment of embarrassment. It was an earthquake threatening to topple the empire Meghan had spent years building. But that's not all. It gets worse. So why did this single joke hit so hard? It wasn't about her politics or her well-documented struggles with the royal family. It didn't mock her philanthropy or her motherhood. No, this was different. This was personal. Colin Jost's punchline didn't just poke at Meghan. It targeted her brand. The carefully crafted, polished image of empowerment, authenticity, and resilience she'd spent a decade perfecting. With one line, the mask began to slip, and the world was watching. This was never just about photos. It was about illusion, control, and power. Meghan Markle didn't just reinvent herself. She erased what didn't fit. Old friends vanished. Former colleagues stayed silent. Past interviews disappeared. Blog posts from the TIG were scrubbed from the internet. Every time her history was questioned, the response was silence or strategic victimhood. But the internet doesn't forget. Reddit threads unearthed deleted posts. YouTube channels re-examined her pre-Harry interviews. TikTok creators cross-referenced her timeline like digital detectives. What emerged wasn't a story of transformation, but one of erasure. Meghan's real scandal wasn't yachts or champagne. It was how far she went to bury her past and how easily she thought she could get away with it. And we know all about her video of her first marriage that was thrown out. The fairy tale wasn't just a narrative. It was the product she sold to the world. Colin Jost's joke wasn't the beginning. It was the spark that lit the powder keg. Once the memes start, they don't stop. Once the algorithm flips, it doesn't forget. And once the audience starts laughing at you, it's nearly impossible to make them take you seriously again. Meghan Markle isn't just being questioned, she's being redefined. No longer the brave duchess who defied a palace, she's now the brand manager whose greatest product was herself. As the internet peels back the layers, one truth becomes clear. The fairy tale didn't collapse because of critics. It collapsed under the weight of its own contradictions. In 2025, image is everything. And Meghan Markle's image? It just sank like a yacht in shallow water. Shallow is a perfect word for her true character as well. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. We hope to see you again soon.